The war had been going on for 3 years. 3 long, painful years of fighting the Krell Collective across the stars. Humanity had lost so many soldiers, so many worlds. The aliens were stronger, faster, and they had better weapons. But humans never gave up. That was the one thing the Krell did not understand about the human race. They never stopped trying, no matter how hard things became. Commander Ji-Ho stood in the dark shuttle as it flew through space toward the Krell Prime Fortress. His soldiers sat around him, checking their weapons and saying quiet prayers. Some were scared. Ji-Ho could see it in their eyes. This mission was different from all the others. This was the one that would change everything, or end everything. There was no middle ground. The fortress ahead looked like a dark mountain floating in space. It was so big that it took several minutes to fly from one end to the other. Guns stuck out from its sides like teeth. The walls were made from a special alien metal that was harder than anything on Earth. Scientists had tried to break a small piece of it, but nothing worked. Not explosives, not lasers, not heat. Nothing could destroy it. Captain Min-Soo walked over to Ji-Ho and handed him a map of the fortress. "The main gate is here," Min-Soo said, pointing at a thick black line on the map. "It is the only way inside. All other entrances are too small or too well protected." Ji-Ho studied the map carefully. He had done this 1,000 times before, but he never got tired of checking. A commander's job was to know everything about his mission. He needed to know where his soldiers would go, what they would face, and how they could win. "How many soldiers do we have?" Ji-Ho asked. 200, Min-Soo answered. "The best we have, all trained and ready." Ji-Ho nodded, but he felt worried. 200 soldiers against a fortress that had destroyed armies before. The numbers did not look good. But there was one thing they had that they did not have before. One thing that the Krell did not expect. The door to the shuttle opened and a young woman walked in. Her name was Hai-Wan. She was not very tall and she did not look very strong. Her face was calm and peaceful. Her eyes were empty, like she was not really there. But inside her body, something very special lived. Science and medicine had changed her, made her different, made her more than human. Hai-Wan walked past the soldiers without looking at them. She sat down alone in a corner of the shuttle. Nobody talked to her. Nobody knew what to say. The soldiers whispered about her when she was not listening. Some said she could run faster than a car. Others said she could lift a building. A few said she could think like a computer. But nobody really knew the truth. Hai-Wan never talked about what she could do. The soldiers began to get nervous as the shuttle got closer to the fortress. The lights inside the shuttle turned red. Warning lights. The fortress was now very close. Soon they would have to leave the shuttle and fight. Sergeant Tae-Yang approached Hai-Wan and held out heavy armor and weapons. "You need to wear this," Tae-Yang said. "It will protect you." Hai-Wan looked at the armor and weapons. Then she slowly took off her big protective suit. Under it, she wore a simple black shirt and pants. Tae-Yang's eyes became wide. "You cannot fight like that," he said. "You will die." But Hai-Wan did not answer. She only took a thin blue protective jacket and one long, sharp blade. She held the blade like it was part of her hand, like she had held 1,000 blades before this one. Ji-Ho watched this from across the shuttle. He did not feel worried. Something in him knew that Hai-Wan would be fine. Something in him knew that she would do something amazing. The shuttle landed hard on the fortress. Alarms went off everywhere. Red lights flashed. The soldiers jumped up and ran to the exit. Ji-Ho was the first one out, with his gun ready. Hai-Wan was right behind him. The Krell soldiers came down the hallway. They were tall and green, with hard skin like rock. They had big guns that shot white light, but they were slow, much slower than they thought they would be. Ji-Ho and his soldiers started shooting. Some Krell fell down, but more came. Then Hai-Wan moved. It was like watching water flow downhill. 1 second she was standing next to Jiho, and the next second she was in the middle of the Krell soldiers. Her blade moved so fast that Jiho could not follow it with his eyes. 3 Krell soldiers fell down, then 5, then 10. She did not waste any movement. She did not waste any energy. Every step, every cut was perfect. The Krell soldiers tried to shoot her, but they were too slow. Their bullets could not catch someone who moved like light. In less than 1 minute, HFY had destroyed 20 soldiers by herself. The rest of the Krell soldiers ran away. They did not want to fight anymore. Jiho felt something change in his chest. Maybe they could win this. Maybe they really could win. The team moved deeper into the fortress. They fought through hallway after hallway. HFY cleared the way. The soldiers followed behind her. They did not see any more Krell soldiers. It was like they had all run away, like they were afraid of what they had seen. After many hours of walking and fighting, they came to a large open space. It was a huge platform that looked out over the center of the fortress, and there, in front of them, was the gate. It was the biggest thing Jiho had ever seen. It was made from black metal and blue light. It was so thick that a bomb could not break it. It was so strong that nothing could break it. This was the gate that everyone said could never be broken. The gate that the Krell said would keep them safe forever. And then a voice came from above them. A voice so deep and loud that it made Jiho's teeth hurt. "I am Vorgax," the voice said. "I am the general of the Krell. You are small and weak. You will never break my gate. Your race should surrender now and save themselves from pain." A giant alien appeared on a screen high above them. This was Vorgax. He was huge, with a body made of hard armor and many arms. He looked at the humans like they were bugs under his foot. "The gate is locked with the power of the stars themselves," Vorgax said. "No single person can break it. No army can break it. It is forever. It is eternal. You should accept that you have lost." But HFY just looked at the gate. Her face did not change. Her eyes did not show any fear or doubt. She just looked at the gate like it was a simple door that she would open soon. And somehow, Jiho believed her. HFY stood away from the other soldiers. She stood in a quiet corner and watched them. They looked at her with strange eyes. Some eyes showed hope. Some eyes showed doubt. Some eyes showed fear. HFY did not mind any of these looks. She had seen these looks many times before. The other soldiers did not understand her. She was different. The scientists who created her had changed her body and her mind in ways that normal humans could not understand. When she was born, she was like every other baby. But when she was 10 years old, the government found her. They said she had special genes. Special genes that could be made stronger. Special genes that could be changed. The process took 5 years. Every day they gave her medicine. Every day they trained her. Her muscles grew bigger and stronger. Her brain grew faster and smarter. Her bones grew harder than stone. But something else changed too. Her voice became different. The medicine changed her vocal cords in a way that doctors did not plan. Now her voice was soft and quiet, like wind through a broken window. She did not talk much anymore. Sergeant Tae Yang came over to her again. He was a kind man with a round face and worried eyes. "You should eat something," he said. "You need energy for the fight." HFY looked at him and gave a small nod. She took some food from the table, but she did not eat it right away. She just held it in her hands and looked at the other soldiers. They were scared. She could see it in the way they moved. Their hands were not steady. Their breathing was too fast. Fear was like a sickness that was spreading through the group. "Will she really be able to break the gate?" one young soldier asked another. "I do not know," the other soldier said. "Nobody knows what she can really do. All we have are stories." HFY finished her food and walked to the window. Outside, the stars were bright against the black space. The Krell Prime Fortress sat below them like a sleeping monster. Somewhere in that fortress, Vorgax was watching them. He was so sure that he would win. He was so sure that his gate could never be broken. HFY felt something in her heart. Not anger, not fear, just purpose. This was what she was made for. This was why the scientists had changed her. Not to hurt people, not to become a weapon, but to do things that nobody else could do, to break walls that could not be broken, to fight battles that could not be won. Jiho walked over to HFY and stood next to her at the window. He was a tall man with gray hair and a strong face. He had been a soldier for many years. He had seen many battles and lost many friends. "How are you feeling?" Jiho asked. HFY did not answer right away. She thought about his question for a long time. "I am ready," she finally said. Her voice was very soft, almost like a whisper. Jiho nodded. He did not ask any more questions. He could see that HFY was ready. He could feel it. This woman was different from any soldier he had ever known. She was calm in a way that was not natural. She was sure in a way that was not human. The shuttle landed on the fortress. The soldiers ran out and started fighting the Krell right away. The aliens came at them in big waves, but HFY moved through them like water. She was so fast that the soldiers could not follow her with their eyes. When she moved, things happened. Krell soldiers fell down. That was all. One Krell soldier got very close to Jiho. It had a big gun and it was about to shoot. But HFY was there. She cut the gun in half with her blade. Then she cut the soldier in half. She did not waste any time being careful. She did not waste any energy on pain. She just did what needed to be done. As they moved deeper into the fortress, more Krell soldiers came. But they kept dying. They kept falling. And HFY kept moving forward. The other soldiers followed behind her. They could see that nothing could stop her. They could see that she was not afraid of anything. After many fights, they came to a big room. This room was full of machines and computers. This was where the Krell kept their shields. Captain Minsu pointed at one of the computers. "We need to turn off the shields for the gate," he said. HFY walked to the computer and looked at it. The computer was made from Krell technology. It was different from anything on Earth. The buttons were in different places. The language was not words that humans could read. But HFY just looked at it for a moment. Then her hand moved so fast that nobody could see it. She pushed buttons and touched screens. Her mind was working faster than a computer. She could see the patterns. She could understand the Krell language. It was like her brain had been built to do this. The computer made a beeping sound. A red light turned green. Minsu looked at his small machine that showed the fortress shields. "The main gate shields are down," he said with surprise in his voice. "Just for a few seconds. It is like they knew we were coming, like the shields have a timer." "Then we do not have much time," Jiho said. "We need to get to the gate now." They ran. They ran down hallway after hallway. More Krell soldiers came, but they did not matter anymore. HFY was running too, and nothing could keep up with her. Her legs were moving so fast that she was almost flying. Soon they came to the big open space, the platform, the gate, and the screen high above showed Vorgax again. The alien general was still smiling. He still thought he would win. He did not know what was about to happen. He could not even imagine what was about to happen. HFY stood at the edge of the platform. She looked up at Vorgax. Their eyes met for just a second. And in that second, HFY understood something. Vorgax was not really strong. He was just very big. He was not really dangerous. He was just very sure that he was dangerous. "The shield is down," Minsu said, "but only for a few more seconds." HFY looked at the gate. She looked at it the way a musician looks at an instrument, the way a painter looks at a canvas. She understood it. She could see how it worked. She could see where it was weak. And then she smiled. It was a very small smile, just a little curve of her mouth. But it was the smile of someone who had just solved a puzzle that had no answer. Vorgax was coming. Jiho could hear the sound of his heavy feet on the metal floor. The footsteps got louder and louder. Then the alien general appeared on the platform with his guards. He was even bigger in person than on the screen. His body was covered in thick, hard armor that looked like it was grown from stone. He had 8 arms, and 4 of them held big weapons. His face had 2 large eyes that glowed with blue light. The soldiers behind Jiho became very afraid. They stepped back, but Jiho did not move, and Heywan did not move. They both stood still and looked at the giant alien. Vorgax laughed. The sound was very loud, like the sound of metal being torn apart. "Look at you," the general said. His voice came from deep in his body like the sound of thunder. "You are so small, so weak. You are like insects trying to fight a giant." The Krell guards moved to stand around the gate. They had big guns and mean faces. They were ready to shoot. But they did not shoot yet. Vorgax wanted to talk first. "I have been the general of the Krell for 100 of your years," Vorgax said. "I have fought 1,000 battles. I have destroyed 1,000 ships, and never, not once, has anyone broken my gate. Do you know why? Because my gate is not just a gate. It is the heart of our power. It is locked with forces that your weak science cannot understand." Jiho wanted to say something, but Heywan started to walk. She walked past Jiho, past the other soldiers, and toward Vorgax. Everyone watched her. The Krell guards lifted their guns, but Vorgax raised one of his hands, and the guards did not shoot. "Let her come," Vorgax said. He thought this was funny. He thought this small human woman was no danger to him. "Let me see this little human who thinks she can fight a Krell general." Heywan walked until she was standing only a few steps away from Vorgax. She was so small next to him. The general was 3 times her height. His arms were as big as tree trunks, but Heywan did not feel scared. Her face was calm. Her eyes were empty. "I know what you are thinking," Vorgax said. "You think you can fight me? You think you are strong enough? But you are wrong. I am made from the best Krell genes. My body has been trained for 100 years. I have killed warriors who were much stronger than you. Your bones would break if I touched you." Heywan did not say anything. She just looked at the general. Vorgax moved one of his big hands and pointed at the gate behind him. "Look at my gate," he said. "This gate has walls made from special metal that does not break. The locks are controlled by gravity anchors that are built into the core of this fortress. To break it, you would need to move the stars. You would need to change the laws of the universe itself." The general walked around Heywan in a circle, looking at her. "Your people sent a woman to break my gate," he said with more laughing. "This is very funny. This is the funniest thing I have ever seen. Do you know what happened to the last army that tried to break my gate? They all died. Every single soldier died, and the gate did not even get one small crack." Vorgax moved his head close to Heywan. His breath smelled like burning metal. "You will try, and you will fail," he said. "Then you will die like all the others. Your race should accept that they have lost. They should surrender and save themselves pain." Then the general did something unexpected. He stepped to the side. He moved away from the gate and pointed at it with one of his hands. "Go ahead," he said. "Try to break my gate. Show me how strong you are. Show me that your people are not as weak as I think they are." Vorgax was so sure he would win that he was letting Heywan try. This was a test, and he already knew how it would end. The gate would not break, the human would fail, and the Krell would be the winners forever. But something was happening in Heywan's mind that Vorgax could not see. Something was happening that no person in this fortress could understand. Heywan was not thinking about the gate as a gate. She was not thinking about locks and metal and gravity. She was thinking about energy and motion and force. When the scientists had changed her body, they had not just made her stronger. They had made her able to understand things in a different way. Her brain could do math that other brains could not do. Her body could move in ways that other bodies could not move. She could see the world in patterns and numbers and forces. And right now, she could see the pattern of the gate. She could see where it was strong and where it was weak. She could see the tiny space between the metal parts where the gravity anchors held the gate in place. And she could see the exact moment when the energy would be lowest. Min-Su was looking at his machine again. "The shields will come back up in 3 seconds," he called out. 3 seconds. That was all she needed. HFY started to walk toward the gate. She did not run. She did not hurry. She just walked with slow, calm steps. Behind her, Jiho watched. He did not know what was about to happen. Nobody knew what was about to happen. Vorgax laughed again. "That is right," he said. "Go ahead and try. Touch the gate. Feel how hard it is. Feel how impossible it is to break." But HFY did not touch the gate with her hands. She did not use any tools or weapons. She just walked to the spot where the gravity anchors were weakest. And she turned her body. Her legs bent slowly. Her feet moved into the right position. Every muscle in her body was ready. Every part of her was prepared. She had done this in her mind 1,000 times. She had planned this moment for as long as she could remember. 2 seconds, Min-Su said. HFY looked at the gate, and the gate looked back at her. For just a moment, it seemed like the gate knew what was about to happen. It seemed like the gate was afraid. 1 second, Min-Su said. Vorgax was still smiling. He still thought he would win. And then HFY moved. The kick was not fast. It was not even very big. But it was perfect. HFY's leg moved through the air like a knife cutting through soft cloth. Her body was turned at exactly the right angle. Her muscles were pushing with exactly the right force. The energy that came from her body was not just physical. It was something more. It was all the years of training. It was all the changes that the scientists had made to her body. It was everything that made her different from normal humans. The kick hit the gate at the exact spot where the gravity anchors were weakest. The metal had already been weakened by the shield generator turning off. The energy that held the gate together was already starting to fail. And then HFY's kick arrived. For a moment, nothing happened. The gate did not move. It did not crack. It just sat there, dark and heavy and impossible. Then the crack started. It was very small at first, just a tiny line of light between the metal pieces. But the crack grew. It grew and grew and grew. The metal started to sing. The sound was like the sound of the whole world breaking apart. The singing grew louder and louder, and then the gate exploded. It did not break into pieces. It did not slowly fall apart. It exploded outward like it had been hit by 10 bombs at the same time. The metal flew through the air. The energy beams went wild. The whole fortress shook. Vorgax's body was lifted off the ground and thrown backward. His guards were hit by flying metal and knocked down. Some of them did not get up again. The general crashed into the wall behind him with so much force that the wall cracked. Dust and smoke filled the air. When the smoke cleared, HFY was standing on the other side of where the gate used to be. She was not hurt. She was not even tired. She just stood there like she had not done anything special, like she had just opened a normal door instead of breaking one of the strongest structures in the galaxy. Jiho could not believe what he had just seen. He looked at the place where the gate used to be. There was nothing there now, just an open space, just a way forward. "The gate," Min-Su said. His voice was very quiet. "She broke the gate." The Krell guards did not know what to do. They had never seen anything like this before. Their general had said the gate could not be broken, but it was broken. And it had been broken by one small human woman with one kick. Some of the guards started to shoot, but their hearts were not in it. They were afraid now. They had seen something that proved Vorgax was wrong. If the gate could break, then maybe they could be beaten. Maybe their fortress was not so strong after all. HFY did not wait for orders. She did not wait for permission. She just started walking deeper into the fortress. And the other soldiers understood. They understood that this was the moment. This was the time to attack. They started to shoot at the Krell guards. They started to move forward. Vorgax stood up slowly. His armor was broken. His face was hurt. But he was still alive. He looked at HFY with eyes that no longer had confidence in them. "What are you?" the general asked. His voice was much smaller now. But HFY did not answer. She did not stop. She just kept moving forward, past the general, deeper into the fortress. Jiho ran after her. The other soldiers followed. They were not afraid anymore. They had seen the impossible. They had seen the gate break. Nothing seemed impossible now. Behind them, Vorgax stood alone. The mighty Krell general stood alone on the broken platform. His guards were defeated or running away. His gate was destroyed. His certainty was gone. The soldiers of Earth moved through the fortress like a river of water. HFY moved at the front, always moving forward. And everywhere she went, Krell soldiers tried to stop her. But they could not. Nothing could stop her. There was a control room that had a big red button. This button controlled the fortress defenses. Captain Minsu pushed the button. The button did not work. The defenses did not stop. But HFY walked to the control panel and put her hand on it. She did something with her fingers. She touched something that looked like nothing, and the whole panel broke. All the lights turned off. All the defenses went silent. "How did you know how to do that?" Minsu asked. But HFY did not answer. She just looked ahead and kept walking. They found the power core next. It was a huge machine that hummed with energy. This machine made the whole fortress work. Without this machine, nothing would work. Some soldiers wanted to shoot it. But HFY raised her hand. She walked to the machine and looked at it. She put her hand on the hot metal. The heat did not hurt her. Her body was made to handle things that would hurt normal humans. She found the right place, the place where the power was concentrated. And she pushed. She did not punch. She did not kick. She just pushed with her hand. The machine made a loud noise. Alarms started to sound all over the fortress. The lights flickered. The machine started to break down from the inside. The power was dying. "We need to leave," Minsu said. But HFY was already walking. She was already moving toward the exit. The soldiers followed her. They ran through hallways that were getting dark. The fortress was dying. Everything was breaking down. Behind them, Krell soldiers tried to stop them. But there were not many left. Most were dead or running away. The fortress was no longer a place of power and strength. It was now a place of chaos and broken dreams. They reached the landing platform where the shuttle was waiting. More soldiers were already there, standing in lines, ready to leave. HFY stepped onto the shuttle first. The other soldiers followed. As the shuttle took off, Jiho looked back at the fortress. Smoke was coming out of the walls. The great structure was falling apart. The gate that could never be broken had been broken. The fortress that was supposed to be forever was dying. And it had all happened because one small woman had refused to believe that anything was impossible. The shuttle flew away from Krell Prime. Below them, the fortress was breaking down. The lights were going out. The power was disappearing. The era of Krell's strength was ending. In a few hours, the whole fortress would be dead. The heart would stop beating. The machines would stop moving. And there would be nothing left but broken metal floating in space. Jiho turned to HFY. "We did it," he said. "You did it." But HFY just looked out the window at the stars. She did not smile. She did not celebrate. She just looked out at the universe and thought about what came next. News of what happened at Krell Prime spread through the galaxy faster than light through a broken mirror. Every human colony heard about it. Every human ship heard about it. And every Krell world heard about it, too. The gate could be broken. The fortress that was supposed to be forever could be destroyed. The general, who had never lost a battle, had lost to one small human woman. But the news hit different people in different ways. For humans, it was hope. For the first time in 3 years, humans believed they could win. But for the Krell, it was fear. Vorgax was still alive. He had escaped from the dying fortress on one of the fast ships. But he was not the same. The general who had been so sure was now a general who was broken. His body was hurt. His armor was damaged. But worse, his mind was hurt. His belief was gone. Vorgax went to the High Council of the Krell. He walked into the chamber where the leaders of his race sat. They all had the same shape as him, but they were much older. Their armor was darker and harder. Their eyes glowed with different colors. "The fortress has fallen," Vorgax said. His voice did not have power anymore. "The gate has been broken." The council did not say anything at first. They just looked at him with surprise. Such a thing had never happened before. The fortress of Krell Prime was supposed to be the symbol of their strength. It was supposed to show all the galaxy that the Krell could never be beaten. "How did this happen?" one of the council members asked. "A woman," Vorgax said. "One small human woman. She did something that I did not think was possible. She moved her body in a way that broke the laws of physics. She kicked the gate and the gate exploded." The council looked at each other. "This is not possible," another council member said. "Humans are weak. We have known this for 1,000 years. Humans are small and slow and stupid." "And yet," Vorgax said, "this one human defeated me." The fear spread through the Krell leadership like poison through water. If one human could break the gate, what else could humans break? If one fortress could fall, what other fortresses would fall? The Krell began to pull their ships away from human space. They began to move back toward their own worlds. They began to defend their own homes instead of trying to expand their empire. Meanwhile, human ships were moving forward. After the Krell pulled back, human forces moved in quickly. They took control of systems that had been Krell territory. They freed planets that had been held under Krell control. With each victory, the human confidence grew stronger. But there was something else happening, too. Something that was just as important as the military victories. The Krell began to fight among themselves. Without the confidence of their leader, the Empire was breaking apart. Some Krell generals wanted to fight the humans. Other generals wanted to make peace. Some generals wanted to find a new leader. Other generals wanted to go back to the old ways. The unity that had made the Krell strong was dying. The fear that Vorgax's defeat had put into their hearts was growing. And without unity, an empire cannot survive. 3 months after the fortress fell, Vorgax was dead. The High Council said he had taken his own life. They said the shame of his defeat was too much for him to bear. Some Krell mourned him, but many others were glad that he was gone. The war was changing. It was no longer a war where humans were losing and Krell were winning. It was now a war where the Krell were trying to survive. Jiho was given a new position. He was made a high commander of all human forces in this part of space. He had an office in a big station that looked down on 1,000 worlds. But he still thought about the fortress. He still thought about the moment when the gate broke. One day, Heywan came to his office. Jiho was looking at reports. There was so much work to do, so many decisions to make. "We have received a new mission," Heywan said. Her voice was still soft and quiet. "What is the mission?" Jiho asked. "There is another fortress," Heywan said, "on the other side of the galaxy. The Krell are using it as a last defense. They are moving their most valuable things there. If we can destroy this fortress, the war will be almost over." Jiho nodded. "We will plan the attack carefully," he said. "We will need a big force. We will need many ships and many soldiers." "No," Heywan said. "We do not need many soldiers. We just need to break one more gate." Jiho looked at this small woman who had changed the galaxy. She was so calm about it. She was so sure that she could do it again. "You really believe you can break any gate?" Jiho asked. "I believe I can try," HFY said, "and I believe that trying is enough." The human forces began to gather. Ships moved from colony to colony, picking up soldiers and supplies. The news spread that there would be another attack on another Krell fortress. The soldiers talked about HFY. They called her the Gatebreaker. They said she could do anything. But HFY did not think about what people were saying. She did not think about being a hero or being famous. She just prepared herself for the next mission. She trained her body. She prepared her mind. She studied the information about the new fortress, and she waited for the moment when she would kick another gate. The human empire was growing stronger. The Krell empire was falling apart, and in the middle of it all, one small woman was changing the galaxy with each kick. But this story was not really about who was winning the war. This story was about what happens when someone believes in themselves so completely that the world has no choice but to believe in them too. The gate at Krell Prime had been impossible to break, but HFY had broken it. And once the impossible had been broken once, nobody would ever believe in impossible again. The age of the Krell was ending. The age of humanity was beginning. And it had all started with one kick and one woman who refused to accept that anything was impossible. The stars were watching. The universe was waiting. And the future was being written in moments of power and will and determination.